Hello and welcome to a new episode, and this camera is not unbelievable. Okay, hello! Welcome to a new episode of the Yarnflakes Podcast. My name is Audrey and this is a knitty yarny podcast from the southwest of France. Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this new episode. I hope you're doing well. I am a little bit tired because I just came back from a little weekend trip to Paris with my boyfriend, and my voice especially is a little bit dying from days of shouting to be heard above the traffic. But yeah, it's not a really bright day today, so I apologize for the kind of moody light over here, but hopefully it's okay and you can still see things pretty decently. Yeah, I hope you're doing well and that you're enjoying October. I have a little episode planned for you this time, which I hope you will enjoy. But first of all, I want to thank you so much for how nicely you welcomed my Patreon launch that I announced on last episode. Obviously, a massive thank you to the people who came to support me, but also I had really interesting conversations with people about the Patreon system in general and the things that could be offered through there. So it was a really nice chat that I had with some of you, so thank you so much for your comments and feedback on all of this. It was really interesting and nice to chat. So yeah, I have a few things to share with you today. I have a pattern release that I'm wearing. I have 2 works in progress, and I also want to quickly show you a book, collection of patterns that I just received and that I received a week ago, I think, and I just wanted to show it with you because I do really like it. So yay! I think I'm going to start right away. I don't think I forgot anything, but here we go. You can find timestamps to all the different sections of the podcast in the description down below, so if you want to skip anything, feel free to look at that and jump ahead if you are not interested in a section. And I also put links to everything that I talk about, as well as my social media and patterns for sale on Ravelry and now my Patreon page. Quick note, I will not often talk about Patreon on the podcast now that it is out there and launched. The only thing that I would do is once per month, at the beginning of the month, I will announce the theme for the month's video. So like I said last episode, every month I will make a special video on Patreon on a different topic. The videos are recorded in French but subtitled in English. And so I will just say here on the podcast at the beginning of the month sort of what the month's theme is on Patreon, in case you're interested in the topic and would like to join. But that's about everything that you will hear on Patreon from now on. And yay, I think that's it. I am going to start right away with what I'm wearing, which is a new pattern release that I just put up on Ravelry. So, a little bit of background on that. I am not a very well organized person, so I ended up getting 4 sweater quantities of dusty pink yarns in various nuances of greyish pink to purplish dirty pink, but overall dusty pink yarn, and they all had plans to become textured garments, and of course I wanted to do them all at the same time. And it was so ridiculous that I decided to pretend like it was done on purpose. So this is how the Study in Pink collection was born. So starting now, I will be launching 1 per month garment pattern. So it's 3 sweaters and 1 cardigan whose sample has been made in dusty pink, and that will feature some kind of textural interest. So once per month starting now, so up until January, you will have this Study in Pink collection, which is, in case you don't know, the name of the first episode of the Sherlock series, which is a pun on A Study in Scarlet, the actual novel by Sir Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Do you have to say Sir when you say his name? I assume. But yes, so the first one is being released now, and the next two are here currently in test knitting, and I am working on the fourth one, which I will show you because it's one of my work in progress. But yes, so I have this little collection, and something exciting as well is that each pattern will come with a cute little drawing illustration made by Charline MZD on Instagram, which is a French knitter and graphic designer. Like, I had this collection and I was thinking it would be nice to have some sort of illustrations or drawings or something on top to go with the patterns, but I'm not an artist like you. I don't draw, so I wasn't really sure how to go about with it until, if you watched last episode, you may have seen or heard me talk about Charline's work, which I discovered, and I really loved her universe, and I just think it fitted really well. Her knitting drawings, knitting related illustration, there's just the perfect mood for this collection, and so I just went in, decided to annoy her, and we are going to work together, and each of the design will have its own little drawing that I will share with you. It will be in the pattern, and I will also share it with you on social media and here on the podcast. So that's how things are going to be. You will also notice that all the patterns names start with a C, which was completely random until I realized, because I recorded the French episode just before, and I realized that C like Conan Doyle, so let's pretend that it's all done on purpose. So the first pattern is now out on Ravelry, and I'm just going to put in the drawing now for you so you can see. It's the Kloska sweater. Kloska meaning shell, like the shell of an egg or of a nut in Occitan, the regional language where I'm from. You're probably tired of hearing me say that. But anyway, and I think you can see why it's called Kloska. And I'm just going to rise up. You've seen the drawing, now you will see the live version. And here it is. So Kloska is a top-down raglan, so you start here at the neckline, which is folded, like mine is folded, it's an option, and I did a little video tutorial on how to do it as you go. Then you have a very simple raglan shape, really it's the simplest of my raglans so far, and it goes with a little bit of ease. You need the body. I knitted mine cropped. You can obviously make it longer or shorter, and then what you do is you pick up stitches here along the line. So as you can see, the little texture of the raglan continues here on the sides. Here it's like little garter rib lines, and you pick up stitches from here and you knit the front pants. So the instructions are written so that you one of them is bigger, like as you can see it decreases slowly like this, and the other one decreases quickly. It's so that the knot kind of sits on one side instead of being right at the front. That was cuter. But yeah, there is also a video tutorial showing you how to pick up the stitches, as well as indications in the pattern on how to place the bands so that they're still on your waist, even if you make the body longer. One of my test knitters also, and that is something that you can think about, knitted the bands separately and sewed them on later once she was finished with the whole sweater and it was blocked, so that she could make sure they were well placed. But most of my testers knitted them as they went, followed the pattern placement, and it just ended up right. So once you've done that, you can pick up for the sleeves, and as you can see, mine are short and they're twice folded sleeves, so it's like double fold here. And yeah, that is how it is. So there are lots of ways that you can modify this pattern. It's really easy to adjust. Like I said, the shape itself is really straightforward, and you can do lots of modifications. You can knit the body longer, you can knit the sleeves longer, 3/4 length. Regarding the fold, the sleeves have enough ease so that it's not tight. But in case you usually are concerned about the biceps circumference because of your personal body type, obviously you can omit that and just finish them like this, or make them a bit longer, because as you can see, there's still the end of the yarn here. It's a 3 steps fold, so basically you have 3 layers, so it is quite a chunky fold, which I personally like because it gives that nice layering detail. Hello, dog. What's up with you? I'm sorry if you can hear some breathing. It's a cute dog being around. Hello. What's up with you? Yeah. Same with the body length. Regarding the bands, so I knitted mine so that they're knotted on the front, but you can absolutely, and the pattern has indications to help you do so, you can absolutely instead pick them up on the other side here and tie them at the back. Or if you want to keep both options, you can just knit them longer so that you can knot them here or knot them here. See? Keeping in mind that if you do that, obviously it will show the wrong side of the garter rib, which I think is a really beautiful texture anyway. As you can see, this is like normal, the right side of garter rib, and this is the wrong side. I'm having trouble settling down. Yeah, he's leaving. Does not appreciate me talking randomly to a camera. And yeah, this is what you can do with the knot bands if you want to switch them up a little bit, but I just want mine to sit here on the front. So yay, mine is knitted in a really lovely, really wintry yarn, which is Blacker Yarn Tamar Luster blend, which is a blend of so many different British breeds. Like I think there's Wensleydales, there must be some BFL, and it's this really, really lovely woolly. Apparently I want to kick that tripod today. It's a really woolly, nice yarn with a bit of a halo. It still shows the texture really well. I really like it. And this is the Kenzie colorway. And yeah, it's a lovely, lovely yarn. And I wanted this to be kind of a layering piece for autumn. So I'm wearing it over a linen dress right now, but you know, over shirts as well and everything. But I'm kind of picturing this in as well in a lighter yarn. Like a cotton or linen blend that you can make for the summer. And I'm kind of tempted to make a summer version myself if I ever have time. But yeah, this is Kloska. I think I've said everything about it pretty much. But yeah, I hope you like it. This is the first of my 4 garments collection, and the next one will be in November, then December, and the last in January. But this is Kloska, and there is 20% off for the release until this Sunday. So it's the code Kloska that will give you this little release offer. So yay! I think that's about it. But yeah, I will move on then to my whips. Yeah, works in progress, that is the word. This is the first, like I said, the next 2 are already being tested, and the 4th one I'm currently working on. And the 4th one is going to be a cardigan, and I'm really eager to make more cardigan patterns. Personally, I tend to prefer wearing sweaters, so that's why I make less cardigans. But I do find that cardigans are very interesting to design because they allow a bit more freedom regarding shapes. You can make really original structural folding sort of shapes in a cardigan that you don't necessarily want to be doing in a sweater if you want it to still be wearable. I think it's easier to have a cardigan with an original shape rather than a sweater, so I'm definitely going to dive in a bit more into cardigan designing, and starting with this. So this is a drop shoulder cardigan, and it's my first time designing a drop shoulder from the top down, and I don't know why I was a bit scared of this. I don't know, I had apprehension regarding this. I didn't knit a lot of them, and so I think I only knitted one drop shoulder from the top down. Yeah, I couldn't wrap my head around how this thing works. And it's actually the simplest thing. It's so much simpler than a raglan, so it's a bit ridiculous. I kind of looked into drop shoulder commercials bought garments I had and tried to figure out how does that thing work, and I ended up thinking, okay, I'm just gonna do it very simply, and I think this is the basic construction that is found in many garments. I have the impression it's similar to the Like a Cloud cardigan by Jorge Locatelli, for example. You tell me if you knitted it. But I just went really simple. I just cast on for the back, knitted, picked up fronts, and then joining. And I didn't want to do any shaping around the neck because, so this texture motif is amazing. It's great to knit. I will get back to that in a bit. But it makes this really cushy fabric because it's a garnisted base, but it has so much structure to it, and it's really, really nice. I really love it. It's gonna be great for a cardigan. And so I wanted it's gonna be an open front cardigan, and I wanted it to kind of hold well here, taking advantage of that stitch motif. And so I decided to just not bother making any shaping, so to say, also because it didn't accommodate the motif very well. But yeah, so I just went really simple, and I think it works really well. I actually haven't tried it on yet. I'm waiting to knit a little bit more on the body. But yeah, I think this is gonna be good. I want the whole cardigan to be in that texture motif, but I'm not sure of how comfortable it's gonna be knitting that motif in the round for the sleeves. So, because it's really nice to work it flat, and I'm just wondering in the round, I'll have to make some tweaks, but it should be okay. But yes, so this pattern is going to be fairly straightforward, and the thing is, I made it complicated. Well, it didn't have to be. Basically, I wanted to sort of separate the different body parts so that it would have more shape, more structure, because if I made all over the motif, I kind of have the impression that it would look a bit sloppy. So I kind of wanted to separate the things. So what I did is that I did fake seams. So there's a fake seam here at the center back. I think you can see here that there's a column of 2 knit stitches that kind of separates 2 halves of the back here, where my marker starts at the front. And basically it matches the pickup line for the fronts, which also looks like 2 rows of stockinette. And as you can see, it kind of makes a T here. Yeah, I kind of wanted to square out things, like make things in a grid, basically grid the garments so it wouldn't look an all over thing, but it would have structure and be a little bit more classy perhaps. And I'm doing the same thing under the arm, so fake seam here. Yeah, and the thing is, doing that, I obviously wanted the stitch motif to be mirrored along these fake seams. And it's a really simple stitch motif to work. It's like 2 rows and 4 stitches. It's kind of like ribbing, so it really doesn't take too long. You just go back and forth a little bit with the yarn, and it's really pleasant, and much more pleasant than ribbon personally, I think. Kind of like brioche. It kind of feels like brioche to me. It has nothing to do with brioche, the way you manipulate the stitches, but it's kind of the same impression. It gives kind of the same feeling to me when I knit it. I find it really pleasant. And as you can see, it forms columns basically here. So if I look at 4 stitches, let me isolate 4 stitches here, 4 stitches here, you see these 4 here, and you see they make these 2 columns, one here and the second one here. And basically one of the column is kind of like garter bumps, and the other column is twisted stitches. And so what I wanted to do is, obviously, if you look here at the center spine, I wanted the same column to be on either side, so that it's symmetrical basically at the center here. So you see, here's the center, and here it goes back in the mirrored way. Same, I wanted it to happen at the front like this again, so that the same column would be at the front, and same on the other underarm. I wanted the pattern to be mirrored. And this means that the writing the instruction is not so simple, and it looks much more complicated than it is, because I had to portion the body. So basically I can't write the instruction for the first front and say repeat that 4 times, because you don't repeat that basically. So you have 4 stitches, right? And you start your front like this, up until the armhole, but then once you pass the fake seam of the armhole, you have to reverse it so it's mirrored. And same at the back, and same at the last underarm seam. And so it means that all the portions are different. Different instruction, but I mean like reversed instructions. And so the writing of the motif looks so much more complicated than it is. So I'll make a video to show how to read the pattern, because it's really so intuitive. Basically, once you've knitted like 4-6 rows, you see the column forming and you know what to do, because when you look at your stitches and you see that it's the twisted stitch line, well, you know what you have to do, and etc. And it's really simple. So I'll make a video first to show the manipulation of the stitch, which is really simple, and then to explain how to read your knitting, so that you don't depend on the instructions, because like I don't read them myself. Basically, once you've set up the things right, you're good, and you only need to set them up once here at the back, because then everything makes sense. Because once you've set up your columns on the back, when you pick up the stitches for the fronts, you reproduce the same columns continuously. Here you can see that they match across the picked up line. And when you do the other front, it's the same, you mirror it, and then when you join at the underarm, it's you have to continue them. And so they mirror on their own, so you can't, once you spot these columns and you know how to do, you don't even need to read the pattern. So you know, that's kind of the idea. It's really pleasant to knit. I absolutely love it. I haven't knitted it in like a few days because I didn't take any knitting with me to Paris, simply because I already have quite a few socks on the go for Christmas presents, and I didn't want to cast on an extra pair of socks to have on wooden needles for the plane and everything. And so, and in any case, me and my boyfriend, we were basically out by 9 in the morning and back at 9 in the evening, and just walking everywhere and doing all the stuff, so we were kind of dead at night, so no time to knit really. And now I really miss knitting on it, and I really want to continue it because it's so fun to knit. And yeah, I'm on the body, as you can see, and I want to advance a little bit. I'm not so sure of the neckband that I'm gonna do. I think it's gonna be a Nycord one, but we'll see how we do. But yeah, really straightforward shape. It's besides that kind of structure that I gave it by compartmentalizing, like making compartments. That's not a word in English, but you understand what I mean. By separating the 4 body parts, it's really straightforward and nice, and I can't wait to do more work on it. And yeah, get it out to testers because it should be released in January. The yarn I'm using is the classic sport base by Autumn and Indigo. So this is the lovely Claire, which is a dyer from the States, and basically she knitted my Feriga sweater, which is a colorwork sweater, in that sport yarn, in her sport base. And I love sport weight yarn, you know. I really want sport weight yarn to be everywhere. And so when I saw this, we kind of contacted each other, and she offered me yarn support. So she offered me a discount. So yeah, full disclosure, she offered me, like, I don't remember exactly the amount of the discount, but a discount to get her yarn for the design. So I was able to get this base, which is 100% superwash merino sport weight. It has about 300 meter per 100 gram, and I really like it. This is the rosewood colorway, so all pink again, and I really like it. It's a true sport weight. It's really bouncy and round, and it shows texture, like it fits the texture really well. And although it's superwash, it has an interesting feel to it. I like it. Yeah, and I'm really happy with how it's working with the stitch motif, and it's lovely, and it's gonna hold its shape really well. Yeah, I can't wait to try it on and see how it, if I manage to do the minimal shaping right so that it stays put. But it's a fun play between discovering that new shaping and trying to accommodate the firm fabric. Like it's like it still drapes, as you can see, but it's just that it doesn't curl, it holds well. Since it has a garter base, it's gonna stay put quite nicely, and at the same time with the twisted stitches it has structure, so it's gonna fall in a particular way, and I think it matches the yarn properties quite well because they kind of balances each other out. And yeah, that's a nice yarn and stitch combo. I'm really happy with it. And yeah, this is the cardigan. It should release in January, like I said. It will be the last of my pink studying pink collection, right? So Koska, which is already out, the 2 that are in testing, and this one, which is still a work in progress, but we're getting there. And I think I said everything about the cardigan. Yeah, I have another whip to show you. So I've been knitting on a few things, but the thing is I can't show them because some of them are in testing. Some of them are test knits that I did for other designers that I'm waiting on them to release the patterns basically to show them to you. But before starting the cardigan, I kind of wanted to take a break from garment knitting because I've been knitting a lot of garment and it started being a bit heavy and I wanted a break. And so I decided to start knitting a sock pattern. And I kind of want to make a little series of heavily textured sock designs for spring. I really like intense patterned socks. I know a lot of people don't, and like I'm kind of curious if you have any opinion on this, or like if what do you think of heavily patterned socks, like cabled lace, colorwork? Is that something that you like doing, or is it something that you don't want because you don't want to bother, because you don't wear them? I'm really curious because I know that, like, personally, they don't get very popular, and I don't see a lot of people knitting such socks. So yeah, I'm just curious because of what people think about it, and I'd just like to hear your opinions on this, because personally I really love them. From a designing perspective, they're really great because they're easier to grade, and you can easily, if you do it properly, you can easily adapt the motif, and the socks will still look consistent across all sizes, and it's really nice to be able to do that as a designer. And as a knitter, I love them because they allow me to experiment and do really complicated little things, but on a smaller scale, so it's not like making a huge garment or a scarf out of teeny tiny twisted cables, you see. So I really like knitting pattern socks, and so yeah, I want to make more of them, and we'll see if people like them. But yeah, I've been thinking for spring that it could be interesting, and so I wanted to make one as sort of a break from garment knitting, and in the end I just spent so much time and so much work doing and redoing, and like I kept frogging it and starting again and changing little details because I didn't like how it was going. But I really like the results. Like, I wasn't sure, I'm gonna show it to you, don't worry. As I was knitting on it, because I frogged it and started over so many times, I was a bit like, I don't know if that looks good or anything. And I haven't seen them in a few days because I've been away, and now that I see them, I'm like, yeah, they're nice, they're nice. Look at this. So this is this would be the first of these spring socks for next year. Yeah, as you can see, it's like twisted stitches carved that merge into these cables and lace, a little bit of lace motif. Yeah, I really like how I ended up arranging them and simplifying them. I made it so that it's more coherent cables across all of it, and I've changed the shaping a little bit, kept modifying little details. And so this is the front, and this is the back, which I wanted something a little bit different for the back, so I ended up doing this. I made a pretty short leg because, like I said, they're gonna be spring themed socks, so I want them to be like on the shorter side, to wear them like above, like with open shoes or stuff like this. But yeah, this is the back of my leg. And I made an area of partridge reel because I just think it fits the kind of elegant mood to it. And this is how it looks like. So yeah, I just wanted to show it to you. I only done this one, and now that I see it, I kind of want to make the second one. I think once I finish the cardigan, I'll make the second one so that I have the first pair ready for like March. I think I'm gonna do that March, April, May. But I wanted to show it to you just to start this conversation about like heavily patterned socks. What do you think about them? Do you like them? Do you not wear them, so it's not worth it? And I do wear them, and I really like them as a project as well. Process, process, yeah. I like them as a project, I like them as a process as well. So yeah, the yarn is just some Opal sock yarn. I have some in burgundy, which I think could be a nice lace pattern, like a lace smaller motif perhaps. And I have some greyish blue that could be like a cable panel or something. Yeah, but pretty little socks. I'm gonna try not to fold it because it's blocked and everything. Haven't taken pictures of it, obviously. But yeah, let me know what you think of that. And I think that's all the works in progress I had to share with you. And I realized that the English episode is going to be incredibly shorter than the French one. It's because in French I rambled so much about stuff. Absolutely ridiculous. So you get the better, more coherent version. So I hope you're happy. And yeah, I wanted to finish the episode by just sharing with you the new Marie Wallin collection. So you know I really like Marie Wallin's designs, and I pre-ordered her Meadow book, which is her new collection of patterns, and I really like it. I have the impression that they're simpler patterns in terms of construction than the rest of her collection, so that could be something interesting to look into. And also part of the benefits from every sale goes into helping the Shetland Island to get an MRI scan, which is a thing that they need. So that is interesting. Cause to support in case you're interested, and it's like a little added bonus on top of the really beautiful patterns that you get. Every time you buy a Marie Wallin's book, you get a PDF version of the patterns, which is good because when you have like teeny tiny itsy bitsy charts like this, you kind of want a PDF one to be able to zoom in. But yeah, I just wanted to show you my favorite garments from the lot. So I really like the cover design, which is Nigella. What I like about this is actually the motifs, which look very artsy, very like architectural like. I don't like the tunic length because I can't wear this. Already explained like pear-shaped issues, but I think it would be fairly easy to crop and make it a normal sweater length. But I just really like they kind of look like architectural motif. I really like them. And second one is cowslip, which is the full-on crazy colored, oops, nope, there it is, crazy colored jumper. And I really like the shape of it. That's what I meant by the fact that the design looks simpler, is that they have simple shapes compared to some other of Marie Wallin's designs, which are like really like have specific shaping, like turtlenecks and stuff like this. This is a bit more straightforward, and I think it looks really interesting. I really like it. So this was cowslip, I think. And the last design that I wanted to show you, which again, Marie Wallin, yes, feral, but also lace and textures and even crochets. This is Meadow, I don't know, Mallow, I want to say Mallow. And it's this jumper with that lace motif, which is really nice and looks really simple to do, and I think this is a really cool, comfy project. Yeah, I'm kind of interested in making that one eventually, whenever I'll grow another pair of arms. But yeah, I really like this collection, and I'm starting to get a lot of her books. But yeah, I just wanted to show it to you in case you haven't seen it on social media, or in case you didn't know about the MRI scan appeal for Shetland. There's like at the end of the book you have more information on this, about what it means for the people in Shetland who have to travel in really uncomfortable conditions, and I mean they're sick, so they can't really afford to, and they have to travel to the mainland, and it's really not the best solution for them. So yeah, that is a nice thing to look into. And yes, I think that's it for this episode actually. Yeah, I think I've said everything. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it wasn't too messy. But yes, thank you so much for watching. I will be back at the beginning of November with a new episode. And yeah, have a lovely rest of October, and I will see you in a couple of weeks.